Hare Krishna, good evening, welcome all of you all for our Saturday evening Bhagavatam class. So we are in the midst of the 18th chapter of Canto 1. So we have completed 1.18.14 last week. So let's have a fast recap of what was the crux of last class discussion. Yes, बताइए. याद है किसी को? गर्मी ज़्यादा है आजकल. Evaporation is more.
I think so. Swanam Doshi, he completes the previous story and then he just gives a glimpse of the new story about Parkishit Maharaj. And then the Shishya, they said that we want to hear more about it.
Great, very good. Bhagavatam means again and again questions being asked by someone and the bigger personality is answering that. So thus, yes, rightly said, we seek for knowledge by repeatedly questioning. But the most important point we discussed was what was the reason for Parikshit Maharaj to get killed. We had discussed जब तक परीक्षित महाराज रहेंगे कली cannot flourish. So for the sake of Kali Yuga, Kali Purusha to flourish, the most important thing is Parikshit has to die. कई बार पिक्चर में भी एक कैरेक्टर को मार देते हैं तभी पिक्चर आगे बढ़ेगा. So yeah, of course now we all know, most of you all know, of course we will study in detail, but Krishna, Parikshit Maharaj, of course, is going to do a very abominable act of putting a dead snake on the neck of a sage. How come so-called great personality who had seen God in his mother's womb, कितना महान रहे थे, भगवान स्वयं उसको गर्भ में दर्शन दे चुके हैं, वो व्यक्ति अब इन अ बैड स्टेट ही इज अबाउट टू. सो उसके लिए जस्टिफिकेशन ही हैज गिवन द फर्स्ट अर्लियर पार्ट ऑफ दिस चैप्टर, दैट इज अप टू द वर्स नंबर 14. यस, कलियुगा का बेनिफिट्स क्या है, व्हाई इट शुड फ्लरिश. फर्स्ट एंड फॉरमोस्ट, व्हाई शुड समथिंग डर्टी फ्लरिश, व्हाई शुड समथिंग बैड फ्लरिश. कलियुगा मीन्स quarrel, unrest, and people running towards bad habits, dirty habits, and now it has become a prestige issue, or rather it's a style icon. I drink, I smoke, I do illicit sex, I do gambling, it's all a style icon. मैं जितना बड़ा ज्यादा करते हो उतना बड़ा आदमी, ये सब चीजें जो ज्यादा करता है वो बड़ा आदमी, ये सब जो नहीं करता वो बेकार है, कुछ काम का नहीं. That's the present situation in today, and the whole purpose, Kali Yuga already I have explained. Kali Purusha was laughing. You have given me 4 places to stay, thinking nobody will come to these places, because in earlier years people used to not go to these places. But don't worry, now when my era will come, people will come running to the wine shop. The दूध वाला will come to your house to deliver, but the wine shop के लिए आप आओगे, लाइन लगा के बैठोगे, घंटा वेटिंग करोगे, हाँ, फिर शराब मिलेगा, वो पिएगो, and you will go to Naraka also, you will suffer here also, you will suffer there also, karmic reactions. Don't worry, come, please come. So everywhere you see, in all dirty places, wrong places, there is waiting. There is always waiting. Why? So much of people want to enjoy, and in the name of enjoyment, they want to do the wrong activity. For example, tell me, you go to the house, by the time you come to the temple, you will see at least 25-30 bars, right? Hotels and bars. You open 10 more bars. Even that will flourish very nicely. Huh? There is no problem, if any businessman comes and asks, sir, where do I invest? Invest in these 4 things. Business point of view, you will flourish. But karmic point of view, you will rot in hell for endless time. Otherwise, these places are ideal, excellent places from the commercial perspective to put invest. Oh, आप बस जुआ खाना खोल दो, लोग अपने आप आएंगे, पैसा गवाएंगे, जाएंगे और कमा के आएंगे गवाने के लिए. You see, why these now the latest matches which happen, IPL matches. I asked my friend, who, earlier I was also a cricket fan about 20 years before I came to know there is something called match fixing. I was very good. I was very, ball to ball I used to have details. इतना मैं crazy था. So once I realized, I think in 90s में आया ना, late 90s में आया, अजरुद्दीन का वो आया इतना. Then I realized what a fool I am. I am seeing the match, then excitement that something is unexpected is going to happen. Everything is planned out. What a fool. उस दिन से त्याग दिया. I stopped watching. So I asked my friend, ठीक है, at least earlier I knew which team to support. I had India. Now you are saying Bombay, Delhi, Calcutta, whatever it is, and an extra tag label is given to that. Yeah, Bombay Devils, क्या? Daredevils, some devils. Okay. So to that tag, you see a foreign player also. You see any player. So what allegiance do you have to support any team? Just because you are connecting yourself with Bombay, you are saying I'll support Bombay. The same, after 1 month, that same foreign player will be playing against from New Zealand or from Australia. That time India जीतना चाहिए. You pray for the same demigod will play. इसका आउट करा देना. But आज मैच में मुंबई इंडियंस से खेल रहा है, उसको छोड़ देना. क्या बॉर्ड भी परेशान हो जाएगा. किसको पकड़ो, किसको छोड़ो. So it's craziness. So why this is happening? Because there are more investors in IPL than players. So one should understand, in Kali Yuga, these type of nonsense, new nonsense will keep on playing. Once a message came, Jungli Rami. The wrong person. मुझे message है. And then saying 40,000 points or 40,000 rupees or 10,000 कुछ तो amount आया. बोला this is for you. आज के ज़माने में बाप बेटे को नहीं दिया. Why? Who is this fellow giving me money or credits, whatever you call it? Then you start playing. Then I'll get addicted. Then see, this is how new ways and styles of nonsense will keep on coming, and they will be somewhere or other attached to either gambling, drinking, or intoxication, illicit sex, or meat eating. That's why you have got nice crispy restaurants also to offer you nice crispy parts of the body. Various parts of the body is offered. So bottom line is, in Kali Yuga, these things are going to happen. So we only see the bads. Sir, Kali Yuga बहुत परेशान. ये सब घटिया चीज हो रहा है. आजकल there is no chastity, there is no sincerity, there is no elegance. पहला आदमी एक बार कंपनी में ज्वाइन किया, रिटायर होकर निकलता था, लड़की शादी करके जाती थी, क्या डोली उठती थी और अर्थी उठती थी. अब 2 बार तो डाइवोर्स हो जाता है उसके पहले. So what is, these are all, but Sudha Goswami is giving the list of good things of Kali Yuga. What are the good things of Kali Yuga?
Just by thinking punya.
Just by thinking of doing something good. Many of you are, for lazy, don't want to come to class. Think, I want to go to class. You get the punya. Some punya. But one Mataji was planning. रोज पुण्य मिलेगा तो फिर why should I take the trouble? And I told Mataji, पुण्य का ये भी कम ही मिलेगा. Percentage will be hardly enough to redeem anything out of it.
You don't
So
dream about it.
this Narad is for all your small papas. You are made to suffer in your dream, and all for your small punyas you are made to enjoy in your dream. This is Narad. आगे आएगा. कि भाई why dreams come, why sometimes very deadly dream, पसीना छूट के आप मृत्यु, and it's senseless. Somewhere you are falling from the car, or from the road, or the ditch, everything. What is that? It is like explained. कई बार है ना पॉकेट मार रहे थे छोटे छोटे चिंदी चोर बोलते हैं तो पुलिस को पकड़ दिया. They don't have the time for putting him in the entire judicial system. So they whack him nicely, put him in the locker, keep him for one night, next day morning kick him out. Go. Because the crime was too petty, too small. So वैसे, and so similarly, when your mistakes, your sins are also too less, only God will punish you in the dreams, not actually punish you. He will just punish you. You will feel the pain, that yatana you will feel in the dream. Similarly, you got punya. Then you will see her dancing with some heroine or hero. So-called material enjoyment. Similarly, just by thinking, if you want to redeem Mataji, be careful. Only dreams में मिलेगा. अच्छा dreams आएगा. आगे कुछ नहीं होगा. So the point is, in Kali Yuga, people only think of bad. How can I kill him? How do I take his money? How can I do bad to him? भगवान मार डाल उसको, उठा डाल, ये कर दे, वो कर दे. So by thinking all this in earlier yugas, it was a great sin. You had to bear the punishment. Now there are a very beautiful list of sins mentioned in the Ramayana. And when it mentions very simple position, Bharata, after coming from his Keke Desh, when his father has died, brother Rama has gone to the forest, and he comes and meets his mother, realizes that his mother is the main kingpin, the main criminal, and he also realizes his father is dead. So he goes to meet Kaushalya. And then first and foremost falls on his feet and she says, I am nowhere involved in this whole thing of sending Rama to the forest, getting myself coronated. I am nowhere involved in this. मैंने कोई गलत काम नहीं किया. And if at all, if you feel I have done, may these sins fall on me. And he gives a list of things. This is how Ramayana teaches dharma, which is there in the Vedas. Vedas पढ़ने को time नहीं है. तो इसी बहाने ये संवाद, ये dialogue, this interaction between Bharata and Kaushalya, through that we learn. An intelligent person takes the crux, and there he says, if I sleep, my leg touches a sleeping animal, or I kick a sleeping animal, or I sleep during the sandhyas, various sandhyas, or I tell lie, or I have a bad, negative thoughts regarding some other man's wife, or I have, various lists was given, around 20 sins he mentions. And they are all sins which is common in Kali Yuga. Common in Kali Yuga. And he says, if I have kicked an animal, sleeping animal, may that sin fall upon me. May, if I have slept during the sandhyas, that is a morning sandhya or evening sandhya, दो sandhya होता है. ये मत सोचना शाम को सोने से लक्ष्मी आती नहीं है. और सुबह अगर आप लेट सोओगे तो भी आपको पाप लगता है. That sin also, let it come on me. If I have, let me get the sin of drinking alcohol. Let me get the sin of eating meat. He says all this. The list, a big list. Though he doesn't do any of those, but he says, if at all I have been a part of the planning of throwing Rama to the forest, sending Rama to the forest, let me get all these sins. So all these sins are there. But benefit is, आदमी पूरा जब भी सोचता है बुरा ही सोचता है, अगर सोचने का कोई पाप का फल नहीं मिलेगा. He will not get this because दिया तो फिर my God will get exhausted of giving you the punishments also. You may not get exhausted, we may not get exhausted of taking the punishment, but God will be exhausted of giving the punishments. Next, what will happen? He says next, the best thing is you think good. Just by thinking good, you will get punyas. इससे बड़ा कलयुग का बेनिफिट और सेकेंडली जस्ट बाय चैंटिंग द होली नेम, टेकिंग द नेम ऑफ द लॉर्ड, भगवान का नाम लेने मात्र से, थोड़ा सा भी भगवान को शरणागत होके सेवा करने से, जस्ट बाय सरेंडरिंग टू गॉड एंड सर्विंग गॉड सिंसियरली, यू गेट व्हाट यू डोंट गेट इन अदर यूनिवर्स. इनफैक्ट इन भागवत महात्म्य, देवतास they are coming down just before Sukadeva Goswami could speak to Parkishit Maharaj, and the devatas are coming and telling, sir, we have got a nice pot of amrit, nectar, please take this and give us Bhagavat. Give us Bhagavat and you take this. They said, even for devatas this is durlabh. This Bhagavatam is durlabh even for the devatas. What to talk about other people? But in Kali Yuga, thanks to Sukadeva Goswami, thanks to Vyasadeva, this has been made very very easy. बहुत सुलभ कर दिया, भक्ति को भी बहुत सुलभ कर दिया. कोई टेंशन, किसी भी देश में हो, किसी भी परिस्थिति में हो, पैसा खर्च किए बगैर फ्री में हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम 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 हरे, सिर्फ भगवान का नाम लेना है और कुछ नहीं करना. बाकी के युग में हाँ आपको अश्वमेध यज्ञ करना है, क्या क्या कितना खर्चा होगा, कितना साधु को मतलब पंडित जी को बुलाओ, कितना खर्चा करो, यज्ञ करो, हवन करो, सामग्री मंगाओ. इट वॉज अ बिग चैलेंज, बट ओनली एंड ओनली इन कलियुगा दीज बेनिफिट्स आर देयर. सो दैट इज व्हाट ही हैज फर्स्ट लिस्टेड इन दिस स्टार्टिंग ऑफ दिस चैप्टर, दैट यस you will have lot of benefits, and for that reason it was necessary that Kali should flourish. And if Kali would flourish, it was only possible if Parikshit Maharaj dies. Another problem is Parikshit Maharaj is so pure. He is so pure and he will not die. जिसने भगवान को देख लिया हो, जिसने भगवान को अपने गर्भ में देख लिया हो, उसका मृत्यु क्या नॉर्मली पॉसिबल है क्या? Normal course of janma, mrityu, jara, vyadi, is it applicable to such a person? He is already a liberated soul. So he knew very well that some other means or some other plot has to be done to eliminate Parikshit Maharaj. Otherwise Parikshit Maharaj is not going to die, and this Lord was very well aware of it. Okay, please read verse number 14 again.
The personality of Godhead Lord Krishna Govinda is the exclusive shelter for all great living beings, and his transcendental attributes cannot even be measured by such masters of mystic powers as Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. Can anyone who is expert in relishing nectar, rasa, ever be fully satiated by hearing topics about him?
Continue.
O Sutta Goswami, you are a learned and pure devotee of the Lord.
Louder, Prabhu.
O Sutta Goswami, you are a learned and pure devotee of the Lord, because the personality of Godhead is your chief object of service. Therefore, please describe to us the pastimes of the Lord, which are above all material conception, for we are anxious to receive such messages.
So this is the question again re-asked. Keep on asking. Shaunaka Rishi and the other 88,000 rishis who are headed by Shaunaka Rishi, they keep on asking Sutta Goswami. Same way Parikshit Maharaj keeps on asking Sukadeva Goswami, and that is how the entire Bhagavatam goes. And Bhagavatam means, please understand this, it is not just about the various avatars of the Lord. You may say, oh Prabhu, yes, we know Narsinghadev came, then Vamanadev came, then Buddha came, then Rama Avataram came, then Gajendra Mokshi came in form of the Garuda, he came, various. No, please understand, this is also the story of various devotees who have exhibited their devotion to such an extent that Lord himself had to come down or shower his mercy upon them. हर जगह पे अगर आप देखोगे, हर कथा, अगर आप देखते हो ध्रुव महाराज की कथा, भगवान आए, उन्होंने दिया उसको, ब्रह्मा जी से भी बड़ा राज्य दिया, सुतर लोक दे दिया, सब दिया. But more important is who is the hero? ध्रुव महाराज. चित्रकेतु स्टोरी में चित्रकेतु महाराज. अजामिल के स्टोरी में अजामिल इज हीरो. कौन विलन? ड्रंकर्ड, वुमनाइजर, ऑल नॉनसेंस करने वाला आदमी. ही इज अ hero. So, whenever a person becomes a devotee of God, he becomes a hero. Knowingly and unknowingly he becomes a hero, and he is glorified in some way or the other. And that is because of Lord's mercy on him. Continue.
O Sutta Goswami, please describe those topics of the Lord by which Maharaj Parikshit, whose intelligence was fixed on liberation, attained the lotus feet of the Lord, who is the shelter of Garuda, the king of birds. Those topics were vibrated by the son of Vyasa, Srila Sukadeva. Thus, please narrate to us the narrations of the unlimited, for they are purifying and supreme. They were spoken to Maharaj Parikshit, and they are very dear to the pure devotees, being full of bhakti yoga.
Now Sutta Goswami replies. Okay, I want someone else to read now.
Sri Sutta Goswami said, O God, although we are born in a mixed caste, we are still promoted in birthright simply by serving and following the great who are advanced in knowledge. Even by conversing with such great souls, one can without delay cleanse oneself of all disqualifications resulting from lower births. And what to speak of those who are under the direction of great devotees, chanting the holy name of the Unlimited, who has unlimited potency. The personality of Godhead, unlimited in potency and transcendental by attributes, is called Ananta, unlimited.
Wait. First and foremost, here Sutta Goswami gives a formula of how one can elevate oneself from an abominable position or from a lower caste. Now, why is a caste? Lord says, चतुर्वर्णम मया सृष्टम गुण कर्म विभागस्य, मैंने चारों वर्ण बनाया है और इससे आपको किस हिसाब से बनाया? Based on your guna and your karma. Now, if you are given a Vaishya body and you are busy eating meat, you are busy eating, drinking liquor, okay, give him a Shudra body, let him enjoy that in that body. More unlimited drinking, unlimited non-veg, everything unlimited. So the formula is how to come out. I want to go to a higher birth. Fine, no problem. And what is the higher birth? Is it only Brahmana? Is it just becoming a Brahmana?
No.
Becoming a devotee, a bhakta, a Vaishnava, a true devotee, a true seeker of God. That is what is a higher goal we should aim for, and that is easily available just by serving God, just by chanting God's name. You don't have to read the big scriptures, you don't have to read the Vedas, everything. Just chant the holy name, serve God in whatever possible way or a manner for you it is possible, and then rest things will happen. Yes, continue.
It is now as certain that He, the personality of Godhead, is unlimited, and there is none equal to Him. Consequently, no one can speak of Him adequately. Great demigods cannot obtain the favor of the goddess of fortune even by prayers. But this very goddess renders service unto the Lord, although He is unwilling to have such service.
Here we are talking of Lakshmi Ji.
Yes.
Who can be worthy of the name of the Supreme Lord, but the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna? Brahmaji collected the water emanating from the nails of his feet in order to award it to the Lord Shiva as a worshipful welcome. This very water, the Ganges, is purifying the whole universe, including Lord Shiva.
Continue.
Self-controlled persons who are attached to the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna can all of a sudden give up the world of material attachment, including the gross body and the subtle mind, and go away to attain the highest perfection of the renounced order of life, by which non-violence and renunciation are
Consequently. Continue.
O Rishis, who are as powerful, pure as the sun, I shall try to describe to you the transcendental pastimes of Vishnu. As far as my knowledge is concerned, As the birds fly in the sky, and as far as their capacity allows, so do the learned devotees describe the Lord as far as their realization allows.
So now, Sudha Goswami is going to speak about Narayana, Vishnu, and he's going to speak, and he's saying humbly, I am going to speak as per my capacity. जैसे हर पक्षी का कैपेसिटी होता है, big birds can fly for a long distance, a sparrow can sparrow for a small distance. So he is saying, as per my capacity, I will explain. Continue.
Once upon a time, Maharaja Parkishit, while engaging in hunting in the forest with bow and arrows, became extremely fatigued, hungry, and thirsty while following the stags. While searching for a reservoir of water, he entered the hermitage of the well-known Shamika Rishi and saw the sage sitting silently with closed eyes.
Continue.
The Muni's sense organs, breath, mind, and intelligence were all restrained from material activities, and he was situated in a trance apart from the three: wakefulness, dream, and unconsciousness, having achieved a transcendental position quantitatively equal with the Supreme Absolute. The sage in meditation was covered by the skin of a stag, and long, compressed hair was scattered all over him. The king, whose plate was dry from thirst, asked him for water.
Continue.
The king, not received by any formal welcome by means of being offered a seat, place, water, and sweet addresses, considered himself neglected, and so thinking he became angry.
Hold it. So, now this is the scene. Parikshit Maharaj has gone for hunting. He's tired, thirsty parched with. Throat is parched and he is very thirsty. He wants water. And he sees the Rishi's ashram. And the minute he sees Rishi's ashram, he feels that this person is going to help me. So he goes to Shamika Muni's ashram. And there, was in what position was Shamika Muni sitting? This is a special meditation. Acharya has explained this as open-eyed meditation. He was sitting with open eyes. Though he was in trance, he was in samadhi, but his eyes were open. And at that point, he is asking, Parikshit Maharaj is asking Shamika Rishi that please give me water. And he is shocked. He is keeping his eyes open, but he has not reacted. He has not forget about offering water. He has not even offered him a seat, a place to sit. And whatever it is, he is a king. He feels insulted. Second, he feels more bad is as a king, as a rishi, it is the prime duty. They should be more merciful and more soft-hearted. He is shocked. And then, okay, continue. Then we'll discuss further.
O Brahmana, the circumstances having distressed him with extreme hunger and thirst, the king directed toward the sage and his anger and envy, which he had never before directed toward a Brahmana. While leaving the king, being so insulted, picked up a lifeless snake with his bow and angrily placed it on the shoulder of the sage. Then he returned to his palace.
Continue.
Upon returning, he began to contemplate and argue within himself whether the sage had actually been in meditation with senses concentrated and eyes closed, or whether he had just been feigning trance just to avoid receiving a lower Kshatriya.
Now, two things. First and foremost, he got angry on the Brahmana. He never used to get angry. A king is merciful on Kali Purusha. How can he get angry? But he got angry. What could be the possible reason of his anger? What could be the possible reason?
His ego.
Ego, okay. Something more?
Kalyug showing its presence.
Okay.
Kali's influence.
Plan.
Kali's influence on the
Kali's influence, okay.
Plan of.
I mean, we have to understand one thing, that Kali cannot influence a person, or rather a devotee who is really devoted to God, to an extent that he has seen God himself in the mother's womb. Such a person can be influenced by Kali. Then फिर आपका और मेरा क्या?
Lord wanted.
It's not possible.
And he has changed his mind because he is wearing that Mukuta,
Hmm.
Jarasan,
Hmm.
which
Okay.
was not. I mean, it was one of that.
But he had earned it by winning it. No?
But
Righteously he won. He has not cheated and won it.
but that Mukut was built with a wrong way of earning gold.
Okay, fine.
Because of his bodily desire, he was thirsty.
Yes, acharyas do say this point that at any point, if you come down to the demands of your body, your physical demands, now all this is going to stand very nicely, very shortly, 7th June, Nirjala Ekadashi. So each of you all can get a chance to become Parkishit Maharaj. So speaking becomes very easy. Yes, what he said was 100% right. That people succumb to bodily demands and they forget the righteous path, the path of virtue, and do unvirtuous or unrighteous things. Okay, that's one thing. Something more.
Lord wanted.
It was a separate land.
Lord wanted this to happen so that, as you said,
Kali could flourish. Very good. Something more. Arey, one thing I'll tell you. Is it not a very dirty, shameful act from a personality like Parkishit? And it's like, some great personality does something wrong. Like, we didn't expect him to do. We expect everyone to do, but we didn't expect him to do. And that too, putting a dead snake on the neck of a rishi is like, because he is saying you are sitting, but you are as dead as this dead snake. So this only is fit for you. He garlanded him with a dead snake. But उसका ही like किया था because आप भी उस सांप की तरह dead हो without any reactions, because a snake, dead snake cannot react. And I am asking you for water and you are not also reacting. So you are also as good as a dead snake. Acharyas, they say very nicely. जब भी कोई it's like simple. Let me put this very practical. जब कोई बच्चा हो ना छोटा and माँ उसको ready करती है. How does the mother get the child ready? नस धो के नाला धुला के अच्छा बाल वाल एकदम तेल लगा के चपाचप ये करके फिर पाउडर वाउडर लगा के फिर काजल वाजल लगा के सब चकाचक रेडी करने के बाद
काला टीका.
पूरा चेहरे का ब्यूटी, right or wrong? After decorating the child very beautifully with nice powder and kajal and oiling the hair and everything, putting one, and sometimes it looks horrible. कोई काजल भी बहुत भयंकर लगा देते कोई, आपने देखा होगा. That's okay. The point is, why does the mother do? Does she want to make the child looking ugly? Every mother says her child is the most beautiful child. Once one king was going for the jungle to hunt. Suddenly a crow came. Said, you do one favor. You can hunt any animal, but don't hunt my child. How do I identify your child? The most beautiful bird in this whole forest is my child. The king went ahead, shot, same bird, the child was the same bird, and started crying. The mother bird came. You only promised, no, you will not kill. Why you killed? No, where did I kill? You said your child is the most beautiful child. No, look at this. So isn't it not beautiful? Looking beautiful. He put his head. He came home. He talked to his minister. Minister, I killed one bird, crow's bird, and it was ugly. And the mother is saying the most beautiful. The mother says, "आपको ऐसे समझ में नहीं आया. Come. You will have to come hidingly. You have to come. Oh, fine." So the prince, the minister took the king to a nice remote place in the village, and there one of the Adivasi ladies, they themselves look quite not up to the standard, and the child are still more, no, almost nakedly moving around here and there. And suddenly the child started crying. And the minister called the king, listen, what the mother says. Oh, what happened to my moon? The mother started crying. What happened to my moon? My moon is crying. What happened? What happened to my child? The most beautiful child in the world. And she lifted the child and started, caressing the child. So the minister told the king, see, for anyone, for you also, your child is the most beautiful. For any parent, his own child is the most beautiful, most perfect, most smart, everything, whatever you call it. This is that. But never have that feeling. This is the first wrong feeling you have. So you have to accept this. If someone comes and tells that this my child is beautiful, accept it. Don't argue with that mother that your child is looking. But still, the child decorates, the mother decorates the child and then puts a why? ताकि उसपे कोई बुरा नजर ना लगे. तो आचार्यगण कहते हैं, even when a devotee leads a very nice devotion life, कुछ ना कुछ एक ऐसा ब्लेमिश डाल, कुछ ना कुछ. और पूरा महाभारत में people will forget about Arjuna's heroism, but they will remember only one thing. उसने क्या किया? अर्जुन कर्ण को निहत्था मारा. What did Dronacharya do? He cut Eklavya's finger. They will not understand the reason behind it. They will only focus at that Kalatika. That is the Kalatika in every devotee's life. Big devotee's life. Some act as if it may look to the world as if it is abominable, as if it is a wrong act or a bad act, but it is not a bad act. As rightly discussed, yes, truly, see, every Itihas has got a message to be given to the common man. The first message is, yes, one should not succumb to his bodily demands and lose his balance of mind. You may be thirsty, you may be hungry, but then you should not start shouting and yelling and all that stuff. Secondly, most important, Kali Yuga had to progress. So how? Somehow or the other, we have to. Thirdly, yes, sometimes God puts a blemish in a devotee's life, ताकि uska life will not look that very sweet, and people will be focusing. That is, the non-devotees will be focusing on that blemish rather than on his good activities. And last but not the least, as I had already mentioned earlier, yes, this is there when you go to Sukta, the place where Shukdev Goswami spoke the entire Bhagavatam to Parkishit. So those pujaris over there, the pandas over there, they tell that yes, since Parikshit Maharaj was wearing the mukuta of Jarasandha, which was a bad man's mukut, crown, Kali was sitting in that gold, and he had to flourish. So he, deceived or dissuaded or confused the mind of Parikshit and forced him to behave like this. Because unless until he doesn't behave like this, he is not going to be cursed. And unless until he doesn't get cursed, story आगे बढ़ेगा कैसे? So it was one of the integral part of it. The most important. After doing this act, Parikshit Maharaj himself is confused. How come I did this? See, upon returning, he began to contemplate and argue within himself. अपने आप के अंदर वो सोच रहा है, मैंने ऐसा क्या गलती किया? I'm such a righteous king. How could I do this wrong act? A wrong act of putting a snake. Was the sadhu really doing samadhi? Was it really meditating? Or what was wrong? What went wrong? He was contemplating. Means he also realized what he had done was a wrong act. Yes, continue.
The sage had a son who was very powerful. Being a Brahmana's son, while he was playing with inexperienced boys, he heard of his father's distress, which was occasioned by the king. Then and there the boy spoke as follows. The Brahmana's son, Shringi, said, "Oh, just look at the sins of the rulers who like crows and watchdogs at the door. perpetrate sins against their masters, contrary to the principles governing servants.
Very important principle is explained here. First and foremost, after he put the dead snake and went off, his friends informed the Rishi's son, whose name was Shringi. They came and informed him. See, that king, he is like a watchdog. And what they have said is right. The duty of a Kshatriya is to protect not only all the Varnas, mainly the Brahmanas. So his job is to protect the Brahmanas. But what did he do? The same person has put the snake on the neck of the Brahmana. And that is what they are saying over here. You are the one who is supposed to be our protector, he was like a like a crow or a watchdog at the door, has done the sin against his master. So even the Shastra confirms Brahmanas are the masters of in the entire Varnashram system. Brahmanas, not just born as a Brahmana, one who lives his life as a Brahmana. He is the actual true Brahmana. Just born in a Brahmanical house doesn't make you a Brahmana. Your actions make you a Brahmana. Please continue. Someone else continues.
The descendants of the kingly orders are definitely designated as watchdogs, and they must keep themselves at the door. Oh, what grounds can dogs enter the house and claim to dine with the masters on the same plate?
It is in the same tone with what I have explained earlier.
After the departure of Lord Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead and supreme ruler of everyone, these upstart have flourished, our protector being gone. Therefore, I myself shall take up this matter and punish them. Just witness my power.
So here, before this boy curses, why does he curses? Because he has deviated from his dharma. At no point can a Kshatriya or the king or the emperor can insult or give any pain to a Brahmana. This is the dharma. This is the Shastra. And this Shastra was violated. And for that reason, he had the right to give the curse. Continue.
The son of the Rishi, his eyes red hot with anger, touched the water of the river Kaushika while speaking to his playmates and discharged the following thunderbolt of words. The Brahmana's son cursed the king thus. On the 7th day from today, a snake bird will bite the most wretched one of that dynasty, Maharaja Parkishit, because of his having broken the laws of etiquette by insulting my father.
Who is a Brahmana? He has broken the law. But more than that, the earlier verse mentions about taking water. It is said, unless and until one doesn't take the water, and any anushthan or any curse or anything, any proclamation done, it has to be with water in the hand. Without water in the hand, no curse, no anything will not work.
Even Vyasdeva had a last.
Everyone has to take water in his hand and do it. So that is one of the important part. There is a Vedic principle. There is one of the part of the Vedic culture. But more than that, yes. Since okay, please continue. At the scene.
Thereafter, when the boy returned to the hermitage, he saw a snake on his father's shoulder, and out of his grief, he cried very loudly.
He cried loudly when he saw his father's neck. The dead snake was there, and by his shout only, his father wakes up and comes into consciousness. Please.
O Brahmana, the Rishi who was born in the family of Angira Muni, hearing his son crying, gradually opened his eyes and saw the dead snake around his neck. He threw the dead snake aside and asked his son why he was crying, whether anyone had done him harm, or hearing this, the son explained to him what had happened. The father heard from his son that the king had been cursed, although he should never have been condemned, for he was the best amongst all human beings. The rishi did not congratulate his son, but on the contrary began to repent, saying, Alas, what a great sinful act was performed by my son. He has awarded heavy punishment for an insignificant offense.
So Acharya say at this point, it is Kali who had affected the son, not the king. It is Kali who has affected the son, because for a small crime, let's say, someone does pickpocketing, you can't hang him. Definitely, you cannot hang him.
Plus he took the role of the Lord, na, कि Lord गए तो मैं करूँगा.
Lord,
I'll give the punishment to.
the Lord in the sense, he is a king, he is a ruler, but the ruler is, Kshatriya is treated like a watchdog.
No,
So
he
he should.
should. Lord has gone and everyone is doing all this, so now
I'll do the.
One day to be, you're not supposed to let God only do all this.
So your mind is affected. That's why it is said, na, अगर कोई पत्ता भी हिलता है तो भगवान की इच्छा से. Everything good and bad is happening is by the will of Lord. You may see, I have done it, I have planned it, I am doing it. If things are not happening as per my thing or happening as per my wish, everything, there is a super controller who does the everything in his way, the way he wants it. If he wants Kali Yuga to move faster, he will do certain things by which Kali Yuga will hasten up. He wants Kali Yuga to stay, will do some things by which the speed of the progress of Kali Yuga will slow down. So everything is controlled by God. And Kali, who sat on his head and made him do that. Please continue.
Oh my boy, your intelligence is immature, and therefore you have no knowledge that the king, who is the best among human beings, is as good as the personality of Godhead. He is never to be placed on an equal footing with common men. The citizens of state live in prosperity, being protected by the unsurpassable prowess. My dear boy, the Lord who carries the will of chariot is represented by monarchical regime, and when this regime is abolished, the whole world becomes filled with thieves, who then at once vanquish the unprotected subjects like scattered lambs.
This is the most important understanding, that Kshatriyas are an important part to maintain law and order. There has to be the Kshatriya community who will control. Otherwise, if there is no law and order, what will happen? Thieves and rogues will take over. They will spur. Yeah.
Due to termination of monarchical regime and the plundering of people's wealth by rogue and thieves, there will be great social disruption. People will be killed and injured, and animals and women will be stolen. And for all these sins, we shall be responsible.
See, what an advice he is giving his son: by your one curse, the entire ecosystem is going to go for a toss.
At that time, the people in general will fall systematically from the path of progressive civilization in respect to the qualitative engagement of the caste and the orders of society and the Vedic injunctions. Thus, they will be more attracted to economic development for sense gratification, and as a result, there will be unwanted population on the level of dogs and monkeys.
So there will be total, disintegration of the entire society. There will be only illegal things and wrong things, and wrong population will be there. Yeah.
The Emperor Parkishit is a pious king. He is highly celebrated and is a first-class devotee of the personality of Godhead. He is saint among royalty, and he has performed many horse sacrifices. When such a king is tired and fatigued, being stricken with hunger and thirst, he does not at all deserve to be cursed. Then the Rishi prayed to all-pervading personality of Godhead to pardon his immature boy, who had no intelligence and who committed the great sin of cursing a person who was completely free from all sins, who was subordinate and who deserved to be protected. The devotee of the Lord are so forbearing that even though they are defamed, cheated, cursed, disturbed, neglected, or even killed, they are never inclined to avenge themselves.
This is the most important verse of this chapter. This also highlights the quality of a devotee. Did Parikshit Maharaj, on knowing that he is going to die within 7 days, complain to God? या भगवान इतना सेवा किया, इतना ईमानदारी से रहा, and end में तूने यही दिया मेरे को. This is what I have got in return for all my sincere devotion towards you and doing my dharma. I have subdued Kali. I have done everything possible righteously. But after all that, the only thing you are telling me is I am getting a shrap. Have to die within 7 days. This is the quality of a devotee. Devotee accepts everything the way it comes. And in everything, he sees the mercy of the Lord. This we are going to see later on in the next chapter. When he's going to speak to Shaunaka, he will say, Lord has been very merciful by giving me this shrapa, by which otherwise I will get too puffed. And I have been so lucky that God has given me 7 days more for me to realize you. There's a very beautiful samvad between Sukdev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. Please continue. We'll complete the scene today. Yeah.
The sage thus regretted the sin committed by his own son. He did not take the insult paid by the king very seriously. Generally, the transcendentalists, even though engaged by others in the dualities of material world, are not distressed, nor do they take pleasures in the worldly things, for they are transcendentally engaged.
So, the basic point is, all devotees, whether it is a good situation in life or a bad situation in life, accepts the way it comes, rather than finding out any fault in God. Or in, if there is a karmic reaction it happens. They don't involve God. They are not doing devotion to get, freed from their problems. Problems are going to be there. This is a dukkhalaya and problems are going to be there. Only it's a matter of time when God plays these type of small incidents to show the world, see, this is the quality of a devotee. Even after being cursed to die within 7 days, on the 7th day he is going to die, he has not anywhere at any point blamed God for it. In fact, he has taken, yes, I have done something wrong. In fact, in the next chapter will come, he had the capacity to neutralize the curse. He was so pious. He had the capacity to neutralize the curse, but he did not neutralize. He took that curse as a mercy of God. That's because unless God doesn't will, this would not happen. So he doesn't want to retaliate that curse or take any vengeance on that. He did not. And again, the Rishi is saying, I have not taken it as a big thing. So everything finally points the finger at God, because God wanted Kali Yuga to flourish, Kali Purusha to flourish. So he had to create a situation by which Parikshit Maharaj's life would come to an end. But before doing that, he is also wanting to give the entire Bhagavatam to the entire human race. That's it. Okay, with this I would like to close today's session. Yes, anybody has got any doubts, questions? Yeah.
Only this may can we get gone for this